And just like that, I've made it to Universal Studios Hollywood on this beautiful SoCal day. Yeah, we're gonna check up on Halloween Horror Nights, the Fast and the Furious coaster, and a few other things. So let's not waste any more time. It's busy, by the way. It's a grad bash mix-in. So yeah, no, it's a little crowded. It's okay though. And before I forget, hello everyone, welcome back to another Theme Park Obsession video. My name is Dylan, and yeah, as you can see right behind me, they've officially started construction on the Halloween Horror Nights 2025 season. So really excited to find out what this one is behind me, and the rest of the lineup. We don't really know anything other than they're just actively building it. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this one ends up being. The past couple years, they've done a Latin America type theme, so I wonder if they're going to continue that or if they're going to transition into something else. I feel like they should do a bunch of different cultures as well. That'd be kind of fun. But yeah, it's all one big mystery. They've probably started the layout. We just can't see the facade over the fence just yet because they haven't gotten to that. But yeah, exciting stuff. And would you look at that? Yeah, they have in fact gone vertical near the back half of this haunted house's layout. So really exciting stuff here at the Parisian Courtyard. Super stoked that another haunted house is making its way to this location in the park. The past couple years have been really good in this location, so fingers crossed that this one's another banger. Moving on to Fast and the Furious really quick. There's really nothing too crazy to report on this week since the track work has been done for quite some time now and the scaffolding has come down around most of the building. But yeah, they've kind of put up these black tarps around the maintenance bay. Let me zoom in. Hold on, everybody. Yeah, look at that. So I do wonder if the coaster cars have shown up on site, because if so, that would be one good reason as to why they want to close that up. So people like me don't get a nice little glimpse inside the maintenance bay. So yeah, big mystery over here at Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift. Other than that, though, you can see a lot of crew members are working on the drive tires and the brake run. And then there's a few more crew members down over here working near this concrete pad. And then if you kind of pan over this way towards the left, you can see that that's the newest addition right there. Another Theme Park Obsession office. Yeah, I need multiple to get these videos done, so I'm glad they started that. They have a little bit of scaffolding up over there on the far end, and it looks like they painted that staircase a nice black. I'm loving that. But yeah, it seems like most of the work is happening on the inside of the building and on the brake run to get everything hooked up and ready to go. But if the coaster cars are on site, that's really good news, because that means we're getting that much closer to an initial pull-through test. Then once they get through the pull-through test, probably by mid to late summer, we'll see this thing fly through the course, because they got to get a few thousand cycles in before they even think about maybe a soft opening or anything like that. At this current pace, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they do soft openings at the end of December going into January. And if so, that would be pretty awesome, because that means we're really not that far off. Halloween Horror Nights starts in like, what, 4 months? Which is crazy. And then after that, it's Grinchmas. And then bam, we're into 2026. And the fact that they've already completed the layout and now are just working on the nitty-gritty stuff, yeah, I think it's totally plausible for a soft opening around the holiday season. Here's your latest look at the facade for Hollywood Drift. Yeah, it's looking really good. A lot of work happening on the inside, like I was saying. I wonder if something's gonna go right here. I wonder if they're gonna put some signage or some sort of theming right there, or if it's gonna stay plain like that. And the windows are looking the same compared to the last video. Alrighty, really quickly, I'm gonna switch gears because the studio tour closes in about 15 minutes. It's the time of filming this clip. So I'm gonna jump on and we're gonna check out the Halloween Horror Nights construction and a few other things. Then we'll go back to the coaster. Okay, successfully made it off the studio tour. Overall, a really good ride and a really great tour guide. We got Patrick today, and Patrick was killing it on the studio tour. But besides that, really good views of the Fast and the Furious coaster. I love sitting in the back car and getting footage because you just get a nice glimpse of the entire layout, and it's looking gorgeous. And a lot of the work is being focused near the dive loop, that new structure that popped up that I talked about earlier. A lot of the focus happening over there. And then eventually here in the next few weeks or so, maybe a month and some change, we might see the LSM fins show up on that straightaway section after the dive loop element. So a lot of those fins are gonna be going in right there, and that's gonna be really fun to watch when they install those. Okay, let's move on to Halloween Horror Nights. Now, at the bottom of Timeline Road, a black tent has popped up in the extended Jurassic World queue, and it's been a few years since we've seen a Halloween Horror Nights haunted house in this location, but John Murdy did confirm on X today, at the time of making this video, that it's in fact being used once again for HHN. So how cool is that? that we finally get this location back. It kind of brings back memories for me too, because fun fact, when I first worked Halloween Horror Nights in 2011, this was the spot that they put me in for the Alice Cooper Welcome to My Nightmare haunted house. Still a little too early to determine what this one is going to be because the facade hasn't gone up over the fence line there, or the layout I could see, at least from my vantage point. So I'll be keeping an eye on this location. I'm super stoked to find out what this one's going to be. Then behind Transformers, work is moving along very nicely on that haunted house. And it looks like the entire layout has gone vertical. And when it comes to the facade is shaping up very, very nicely. And what's funny is this looks very similar to the facade construction when they did Scarecrow the Reaping a couple years ago. Now that was a really good haunted house. And if it does make a comeback, that's that's definitely not unheard of. Halloween Horror Nights has brought back haunted houses before due to popular demand, so I could totally see this happening. The two haunted houses at the surface lot next to Curious George are shaping up very nicely as well, and they both have pretty cool facades. The one that's closest to the tram road has a very large facade at its front entrance, so really curious to see what this one's going to be. And another thing to note about this one is that it looks to have some AC connected to it, and that could mean a few things. One, maybe this one has some cold environments that they want to simulate, or two, this one might have performers in the haunted house that have elaborate costumes on, and they want to keep the performers somewhat cool because it does get very, very warm underneath these tents. And as the night progresses, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter because of the repetitive motion that you do in these haunted houses and the people walking through and all the lights and everything going on. You do get very, very hot in these things. So the AC could mean that this one in particular has some pretty elaborate costumes. So we'll find out once they start announcing these haunted houses, but that's just my best guess. And then the one closest to the parking structure, looking really good. Some sort of house, I'm thinking, but again, this one looks very similar to the build of Poltergeist. Remember that haunted house here at HHN? I think that was 2018, if I recall. It's looking very similar to that facade. Could be another comeback. If not, maybe something totally different. I'll be keeping an eye on it. And as they put a lot of detail on all these facades, we'll get like way more context clues and we'll be able to put one and two together. Now I've made it over to the escalators to get a view of the haunted house being built behind Revenge of the Mummy, and look at this. Lumber has gone vertical and the layout is done and they're moving on to the next step. So really excited to see what this one's going to be. And John Murdy did confirm that the facade is going to be going on this side once again, even though there's some construction happening. And then when you look at the back end of it, you can see that they've extended the haunted house once again. I love when they do this because it just means that our experience is slightly longer than what's just contained underneath the black tent. But here in the next few weeks, the facade should be going up, which is very exciting. And then eventually we'll find out what this one is supposed to be. Now, speaking of making some good progress, look at the retaining wall that's going in at the side of the hill here next to Revenge of the Mummy and the escalators. Like I've been mentioning the past few weeks, I think this is the start of something a lot larger here at Universal Studios Hollywood, because there's just been so much work lately, and how exciting. And they're shaving this hill down very, very quickly. And I'm still wondering if they're going to get even closer to the escalators or if that's about as far as they're going to go. Again, this could totally mean nothing and it's just a retaining wall, but I don't know. The past couple of years have been crazy with Universal and the amount of things that they are putting in their parks, so it just wouldn't be surprising if this is just the start of something major for the rest of the lower lot. I am looking forward to it, and I'll be keeping an eye on this retaining wall project here in the next few months. At this current rate, I wouldn't be surprised if by mid to late summer, this is like done. And it would make sense, right? Because they want to try to get as much of this done as possible so they can prepare for the Halloween Horror Nights crowd. Because if the facade is going to be on this side, well, then you got to have, space for the queue line and the exit and entry and all that kind of fun stuff. Making my way out of the park, and look at this. They have an all-new pass member magnet now available, and this one is themed to Waterworld, so that's pretty cool. Well, that's going to do it for today's video from Universal Studios Hollywood. It was a quick one, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these videos and more from Universal or some of your other favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week that you won't want to miss out on. And also be sure to check me out on X and Instagram. Those links will be down below in the description. Till the next video though, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.